what I've found personally that the best way to actually attract and maintain design is actually culture. Because nobody really goes into design thinking I'm going to be really rich. I mean, you go into it because you enjoy creative challenges, you enjoy problem solving, you enjoy the creative process. If you happen to get rich like Johnny Ive, well, great, but most of the time it doesn't happen. So the best way to do it is to have an environment which is a perfect incubator for creative thinking. So people will come and work in a creative environment where there's no fear, and it's passion-based, and there's a clear vision, and it's flat. So there's no hierarchy that you have like in a traditional agency, which is kind of based upon the creative director at the top of the food chain, and then everything kind of goes down from there. Where in modern design, it has to be more of a circular kind of construct, so that everybody has a voice. At the beginning of a design process, design is not at the service of product requirements or technological requirements, but it's actually there co-collaborating with product design, development, management, and even bringing in elements like marketing and brand into the mix. So that literally it's a round table, and everybody at the inception is there and they know what their part is, versus the traditional way of throwing things over the wall to the next person. So a designer will see that and immediately go, oh yes, he or she will immediately feel like, I get this. This is the way that it should be. And this allows also for a multiplicity of really bad ideas to come out when you want to do that, because quantity begets quality. And the more that you truly allow mistakes to happen, the better it is. Unlike a lot of preconceptions about design, it doesn't come out of, the head of design's head and then gets carried out. You have a hypothesis, and the hypothesis is based upon a reaction to a clearly defined problem that's in, the customer has, whether it's in a market. And then once you identify specifically what the problem is you're trying to solve, then you develop a hypothesis as to how to solve that problem. And the next step is to actually develop a series of different design answers to that, and it's called divergent design process. And you can almost imagine it's like this big funnel. And then what you do is you take these different ideas and you bring them down into prototyping. And then you get actual customers, human beings, and you show it to them. And you say, does this solve your particular customer need? Does this solve a problem for you? And then you get feedback during that point. And then you go back, and with this new information, you then do, again, divergent design thinking. You develop prototypes, and then you go back again to the customer. And you test out your hypothesis and see if what you have done actually addresses what they need. And this can go over, multiple times until you finally get to something that they feel satisfies their need. Now, the balance on this, of course, is the old Henry Ford saying, as spoken through Steve Jobs and many other people, is that if you ask a customer what they'd want a faster horse, not a car. And so there's times that you have to take in the needs, but not necessarily take the solution from the customer. Otherwise, we would be back with Blackberries and, keyboards that, you're pushing on versus, a smooth surface, which at the time, 12 years ago when the iPhone came out, it was considered to be, no one's going to use this, it's crazy, and then of course it just became standard. So there's always a balance between listening to the customer, understanding their needs, and then using data and research as one part of it. But it's truly a mix of also intuition, the ability to balance empirical data analysis against the fact that you're a human being with a lot of experience and you've been doing this for a long time. And the two of these are kind of the yin-yang approach, at least the approach I take for design.